So you definitely have to check what technical skills are needed in the business that you want to open so you can fill this gap. If you don't have the skills needed, then you can either hire or find partners who can do it for you. Although there are more ways than one to fill the gap, I think it is more important to really choose a business that is within your skill set, because if you're a small business owner, you may not be able to afford to hire too many people or to hire highly skilled people because they're more expensive also to hire. So with our coffee shop, since cooking was or making coffee was not within our expertise, we decided to partner up with someone who knew how to do it. So again, it depends on your situation how you want to fill this gap. Hey guys, Alex here. Welcome back to my channel, a channel about real estate, personal finance, and business. Have you always wanted to start your own business but you don't know where to start? Do you feel overwhelmed by the things that you need to do to make it happen? Don't worry, this is totally normal. I've been there myself. Starting a business in the Philippines is not easy because there are a lot of barriers to entry. But one thing that I noticed recently, in the recent years, is that entrepreneurship has become cool these days. So more and more people are aspiring to become one without really checking what it takes to be one. Being an entrepreneur for the past 10 years, I can say that it's a hard road to be on, but if you get it right, it's also highly fulfilling and rewarding. What I like about being an entrepreneur is that if you play your cards right, you can enjoy and overall get a better quality of life with you and your loved ones. When it comes to successfully launching a business, having a great idea is only the first step. Anyone can have a great idea. But research, preparation, and execution are far more critical. You also have to be mentally, financially, and emotionally prepared, because being an entrepreneur is like taking the roller coaster instead of the train. You have to be ready for the ups and downs. And if you're not ready, you may just end up giving up too soon. In today's video, I will be breaking down the step-by-step process on how to start a business in the Philippines in 2021. After this video, you will know how to register and launch a business here in the Philippines. So the first step is to decide what industry you want to be in. I decided that I was going to be an entrepreneur way back in high school, but as to what kind of business I was going to be in, I had no idea. How do you find your niche? I did this by trying different things. I tried running a hardware store for a year after college. Through that, I realized I enjoy selling. But what I didn't like was the inventory and all the nitty-gritty in running a traditional business. We also didn't have a proper system, even though my family had the business for 15 years, so it was a huge headache for me. I also tried multi-level marketing. I, again, enjoyed the sales aspect of that as well. I met with a lot of people, was able to sell a few products, but I did not quite enjoy lugging around the products with me. If I was going to sell something, I wanted it to be a product that I wouldn't have to bring around. I also tried being a nursing licensure exam lecturer, since I'm also a nurse. Through this, I realized that I enjoyed teaching, but the topics that I preferred to talk about leaned more towards, topics like this, like real estate, entrepreneurship, personal finance. So when I finally found real estate at the age of 23, I was able to combine all the things that I enjoy doing: sales, teaching, sharing with people what I know, and a product that I was excited about and believed in. If you don't know yet what niche or industry you want to focus on, go experiment. Try different things. You can read and research as well, but at the end of the day, you really have to try it to know for sure. Also, don't be afraid to quit. If you tried something and you feel like it's not for you, then just quit. It's not true that winners never quit. Winners just know when to quit. Once you've decided on your niche or industry, it's time for you to make a business plan. So the second part is make a business plan. And this is where research comes in. To be honest, we didn't really do a lot of research when my partners and I put up Truly Wealthy Realty. We just kind of dived right into it. However, we loved what we were doing so much that we just taught ourselves and learned along the way. Also, since we did not put in a lot of capital, since it's not a traditional business, we actually just put in $2,000 to start the realty. We didn't have a lot of financial risk. But when my husband and I were still in the planning stage of putting up our gaming cafe, we had to do a lot of research. Actually, my husband mainly did the research, because this was a traditional business and it entailed a lot of capital. So a tip in starting a business is before you put in your money, put in your time first. Do your assignment, do your homework, do your research. So what we did was we researched on the industry, we checked out other gaming cafes, we computed the capex and the opex, the capital, the overhead expenses. We looked at the technical skills that would be needed to run the business. Since it was a gaming cafe, we would need someone who knew how to troubleshoot computers. And since my husband is an IT graduate, he was able to fill this need. He was actually the one who set up everything, from finding the suppliers for computers to setting up the cafe to also running the business and doing the legal aspect of it. So I mainly helped him with the HR, like hiring people, and also with the marketing. So you definitely have to check what technical skills are needed in the business that you want to open so you can fill this gap. If you don't have the skills needed, then you can either hire or find partners who can do it for you. Although there are more ways than one to fill the gap, I think it is more important to really choose a business that is within your skill set, because if you're a small business owner, you may not be able to afford to hire too many people or to hire highly skilled people because they're more expensive also to hire. So with our coffee shop, since making coffee was not within our expertise, we decided to partner up with someone who knew how to do it. So again, it depends on your situation how you want to fill this gap. Third is decide what type of business you want to open. So there are three main types of businesses. You can either go with sole proprietorship, partnership, or a corporation. So for sole proprietorship, this is the most basic and most common type of business organization here in the Philippines. Most small business owners are under sole proprietorship. This can be established by just one person, which is referred to as the sole proprietor. The disadvantage of this type of business is that a sole proprietorship is an extension of yourself. So that means all the assets and liabilities of the business are also your own. When my husband and I put up our gaming cafe business, we put it all under my name. So as the sole proprietor of the business, whatever liabilities the business accumulated I will also be liable for that. So the next type of business is a partnership. So this requires two or more people who agree to contribute assets with the intent of dividing profits among all the parties involved. Like a sole proprietorship, it's legally and financially connected to its owners. A partnership will need to be registered at SEC, and there are actually three types of partnership as well. First is general partnership, wherein the ownership and profit is split equally between all the owners. Each partner has total liability, meaning they are all personally responsible for the debts and obligations of the business. So if one partner takes out a debt on the business, all the other partners are also liable for this loan. The next type of partnership is a limited partnership. So in an LP, you need to have one general partner who is fully responsible for the business and one or more limited partners who provide money but do not actively manage the business. Limited partners are not responsible for the debts and liabilities of the business. When we launched our other traditional business, which is a coffee shop, The Foundry, it was under a limited partnership with one of our partners as the general partner and the rest of the partners as limited partners. And then the last type of partnership is an LLP or limited liability partnership. This operates like a general partnership with all the partners actively managing the business, but it limits the liability for one another's actions. This means that if one partner commits a mistake, the other partners are not responsible for that. This is often used by certain professions such as doctors, lawyers, and accountants. The third type of business is a corporation. So this is composed of individuals who act as a single entity to advance the interests of the corporation as a whole. Before, to form a corporation, you had to have at least 5 incorporators. But now, with the changes in our law, you can now form a corporation with just one person. So it's called an OPC or a one-person corporation. Since it's a separate entity, the liabilities of the corporation cannot be passed on to its stockholders or incorporators. So since I've been able to try setting up different businesses under all three, like sole prop, which was the gaming cafe, limited partnership, the coffee shop, a corporation with 5 people, which is Truly Wealthy Realty, and also a one-person corp, which is our second branch for the gaming cafe. So out of all of the 3 types of businesses, single proprietorship is the most easy to set up. but it also carries the most liability since it is an extension of the business owner himself. So if I were to choose which one I prefer, it would be a corporation since this is a separate entity from the incorporator. So any liabilities that would come along would solely be the corp's responsibility and liability. And your personal assets will not be, taken away by the government or creditors, except of course in the case of fraud. Also, you don't have to have a big office or tons of employees to create a corporation because a misconception of some people when it comes to corporations is like you have to have a huge building, you have to have tons of employees, so that's not true. When we incorporated Truly Wealthy Realty 10 years ago, we had nothing. Basically, a corporation is just a folder that sits in your office, so it can be done even if you don't have tons of cash or a big office. You just have to comply all the legal requirements and you can create a corporation. The fourth step is to register your business. So once you've decided what type of business to put up, the fourth step is to register it. So you can register either at DTI or SEC. So with sole proprietorship, the first step is to register at DTI or the Department of Trade and Industry. So you just need to go to the DTI website and check if your business name of choice is available. Once you find a business name that's available, complete the online registration form and wait for the DTI certificate to come out. For partnerships or corporations, you need to register at SEC, so just go to their website to complete the registration and again, wait for the SEC certificate to come out. Another thing to note with SEC registration is your minimum paid up capital. So this amount will depend on the industry. You need to set aside 25% of your capitalization in your bank account. So for example, if you chose your minimum paid up capital to be 100,000, you would need 25% of that, which is 25,000, to be reflected in your bank account. So consult with your accountant what minimum paid up capital is best for you so that you won't have, any trouble adjusting it so you won't have to adjust it later on. So once the DTI and SEC certificate is out, next step is to go to BIR to register your business. You may choose to register at City Hall first, but we usually do the BIR registration first. Because once your certificate from DTI or SEC is released, you need to finish your BIR registration within 30 days or else you will be penalized. So this happened to us when we were setting up our new corp. We haven't even started doing business yet, but we already had to pay a penalty at BIR because it already lapsed 30 days. So when it comes to registering your new business at BIR, I would advise to really get a competent accountant to help you with this because BIR registration can be tricky. Once you've registered, it would be very hard or expensive to change things. So you need to get it right the first time. You'll also need to pay for the registration form 0605, register your books of account, and have official receipts made for your business. Once this is completed, wait for your COR to be released. Next is register with the barangay. So fill up the application form and submit the pertinent documents to be registered, which is the 2 valid IDs and proof of residence. And then wait and claim your barangay certificate of business registration. And then after that, number 4, register with City Hall or Mayor's office. Once you've claimed your barangay certificate of business registration, next go to City Hall, fill up the application form, submit the requirements, and pay the registration fee to be registered. So once you're all registered, the 5th step is to launch your business. It's very important to take the time to research and prepare, but at the end of the day, execution is key. Once you've done your homework, it's time to launch your business. With our traditional businesses, we had to launch it physically. We had a blessing, an opening day. After we found a space to rent, we renovated it, installed the computer, set up everything, and then had a business blessing before we officially opened our doors to the public. So when it comes to launching a business, marketing is very important because you need to create noise to let people know that you're opening. We did this by creating a Facebook page and having our launching promo and then promoting it on Facebook. So our promo for our opening day for Gamers Enclave was free to play for 2 hours for every player for half a day. So your promo and marketing will depend on what will suit your business best, but definitely you will need to be on social media. Why? Because that's where the people are. People are on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, so that's where you need to go to let the people know that you're in business. For those who have yet to start a business, the entire process can seem overwhelming because you not only have to deal with the daily operations and the financial aspect of running a business, you need to look at the legal side as well. But that's okay. Just do your research, get a good accountant so we can advise you and help you in setting up the business right. Don't be afraid because you just need to do it one step at a time anyway. You won't know until you've tried it. Being an entrepreneur is hard work, but trust me, it's worth it. So again, I hope I was able to provide value with you today, and I will see you in my next video.